Bitter debut for Paraguay. Gustavo Alfaro's team couldn't do it. The truth is, they just couldn't handle Pochettino's team. The United States was the host, also at the start of Group C in the 2026 World Cup, and it was tough against the host, who really showed up today. Want to know why? Let me tell you. Let's get started. Well, to begin with, maybe this Paraguay team isn't the one everyone expected, or at least not for me personally. I expected it to be a more overwhelming team, a team with a stronger game plan. And they faced a very different United States, honestly. It's not the United States I remember that lost to Belgium a few months ago during the FIFA international window. The United States had shown a really poor spell of play, honestly. The United States showed that maybe they weren't up to the expectations people had for them in terms of soccer, also given the players they had going into the World Cup. And the United States looked completely different in this match, at least in their debut against Paraguay. A Paraguay side that was expected to be much more compact across the pitch, much more solid, and to offer many more alternatives at the start of this World Cup. So let's analyze. The truth is, we're going to analyze how both teams played and why what happened to the Paraguayan team happened. This is how both teams lined up. The United States came out with a traditional 4-2-3-1, very clearly defined. I thought it was going to be a team with more of a mid-block, more around the middle of the field, waiting and letting Paraguay take the initiative. But the truth is, the match started off very frantic. Paraguay started well. Honestly, they started very well. Paraguay with a clearly defined 4-2 formation. I thought it was going to be a very vertical team, attacking down the flanks and finishing the move through the middle, either near the edge of the box or inside the box as well. Honestly, I believe that this team was going to assert itself a bit more. I'm talking about Gustavo Alfaro's squad. Why? Because they finished the qualifiers very well, because they were getting very good results, because their offensive play was paying off a lot, but also their defensive play. And Gustavo Alfaro, honestly, ask yourself, what did you think of Gustavo Alfaro when the qualifiers ended? And he was one of the best coaches in the qualifiers. So, this result comes as quite a surprise. 4-1. The United States national team ends up winning. And I want all of us, you two and me, to analyze tactically how they lined up. There you have the tactical formations. The red dots are the Paraguayan national team and the white dots are the United States national team. I want to point out that this one, Almiron, and this one, Enciso, I felt they needed a bit more coordination, which the United States did have, but we'll analyze that in more detail in a moment. Here is Miguel Almiron, who was required to use the wing no matter what. To use this, there you can see the lane marked in gray. And also Mr. Julio Enciso, who also needed to connect by attacking that space. Julio Enciso needed to attack this area, because if you attack that area, if the team is more forceful by attacking this area, they were going to find spaces like they did in stoppage time in the second half, right at the end, around the 73rd minute. Now let's talk a little about the United States. The United States has Balogun across the front line, Serginho Dest, Weston McKennie, and Christian Pulisic. I think this tandem, these four players, also form a kind of diamond. Not only do they create a passing lane, but they also occupy the vertical lane with Christian Pulisic on the left side and on the right side with the Serginho Dest. And they also interchange positions. Where Balogun himself can rotate with Weston McKennie and attack the spaces. Now, here there's a key player, and that's Tillman, because when Tillman starts attacking these spaces, when one of the defenders leaves one of those spaces open, that's when the United States achieves a numerical advantage. And that's the big key to this match. That's the big key to this match. And it's that the United States knew how to take advantage of Paraguay's defensive weaknesses, which are many, honestly. There are many. And that's why, precisely because of that, for understanding how to manage space and occupy it while in attack when the United States was already attacking. That's the key. That's why today the United States ends up winning by a landslide in their debut. And it's not just about winning by a landslide. It's not just that. It's that they put on a good performance because no one expected Mauricio Pochettino to deliver this kind of performance. But also, the United States presents itself as the host and says, hey, I'm here to compete with everybody too. I, as Andres Guzman, was expecting a different performance or a different match from Paraguay. It turned out completely differently in another way, which is favorable for the United States and for Mauricio Pochettino. That's why your opinion is always the most important. So tell me, what do you think about Paraguay's debut? About the United States debut? How will it go for Pochettino and how will it go for Gustavo Alfaro? Will they qualify or will it be a disaster? Let me know. I'll read your comments. Stay tuned to everything Falso Nueve TV does, because we not only broadcast, but we also bring you these analyses. So see you next time. Very soon. Bye.